Hi, everyone, and welcome to Change the Conversation. I'm Natalia Lobach. I am from Charthouse Advisory Services, and today I am joined by Jennifer Egelnick, who is a longtime friend and also colleague of mine, who is currently working in strategic change and transformation at a large financial institution here in Canada. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining me.
Good afternoon, Natalia. I'm happy to be here.
So, it was really interesting. Before I kick off the recorded part of the session, we always have a little conversation to see, what are the issues that we're facing and what are some of the common themes that are coming up for us. And right now it is the end of December when we're filming this. So you may see this later on in 2021, but right now we are filming it. It's the end of December. And one of the themes that we have been encountering and talking about is burnout and just, how tired people are. And when we're looking at, change management, typically we would call this change fatigue. And I think we're in a really different kind of situation now. Change fatigue is usually when, your project or your initiative has sort of run a certain course and people are really, they've sort of gotten to a certain point with the change and they're tired. But I think in this scenario, we're dealing with a really different kind of change fatigue. The circumstances of 2020 have really put us in a place where a lot of people are really tired. How are you finding that that's affecting your work right now? And tell us a little bit about what's happening.
I think from a personal point of view, so I'm on vacation now. It's my first vacation in probably about a year, and I've slept for 4 days straight. And I've never done anything like that before. Like, I am exhausted, and it's not just work. There's a component of it where, we heard a lot about this in March, which was you now live at work. There isn't the separation. You don't get to go home. There's that piece of it, but you can also see it in the way that people are, I think I see it a lot in the way that people are assimilating the information that you're giving them. The idea that you're going to put one other thing on their plate is like the glaze over, the panic, I'm not prepared, like the tone that comes with this is a hard no in our negotiation. I'm seeing that a lot. People just not showing up to meetings in the last couple of days before they were supposed to go away. People have just hit a brick wall. They're exhausted.
I 100% agree. I think everything that's happened this year has really stacked up on people. And I feel like now that, everybody in our culture, in our context is getting a little bit of a break. It just, people are running up against that exhaustion. I also remember hitting this in March as well, like right when the pandemic started. There was this hum of panic and, all of the changes that were hitting us in a really short amount of time and the amount of capacity that people had to absorb any additional changes.
To say nothing of the amount of worry and anxiety that you have to cram in alongside your ability to adapt. Just not knowing whether or not anybody you love is going to get sick, anybody you love is going to be affected by this, lose their job, be able to make rent, all of that.
Exactly. And, I think it's incredibly important to acknowledge that in the business of change management, we're focused on people. And, I have thought about it a lot, like in everything that I've been doing and in all of the, if I'm focused on a work initiative, project, clients, that kind of stuff, I'm always thinking about what, everybody has their own context, but I'm keeping that bucket there. I don't know everybody's circumstances, but I'm always thinking they've got a bucket. They've got a bucket of stuff that they're dealing with, whether it's their kids in school, not in school, like whatever it is. Job loss, impending job loss of a spouse. Like there's so many things that people are going through. Parents and loved ones being sick. There's a bucket. So there's a bucket of stuff that everybody is carrying around with them. or if you want to call it a suitcase, I don't know, whatever works.
Backpack
But
of bricks.
the backpack of
Sure.
bricks, right? And thinking about it from, I'm from a change professional's perspective. You're coming in and you're expected to deliver, right? Like, you've got your own backpack of bricks, but you're coming in and you're trying to figure out how to deliver. And
Mhm.
I think one of the key things that has been really helpful is remembering and thinking about what is that backpack that someone else is carrying around.
Yeah. Empathy.
Huge.
Empathy.
It's been
Yep.
so important.
Yep.
And then, at the same time, acknowledgement and saying, yeah, I've spent a lot of time fighting back or, really providing upward feedback, if I want to use, I guess
Mhm.
more politically correct terminology, but providing that upward feedback to, some of the leadership or management, acknowledging they too have their own backpack, right? And they also have things that they're concerned about, but really providing that feedback to say, okay, I think this is what people can handle, or like, I don't think people can handle any more than X, Y, or Z. um
And being
Providing
honest
that
about,
voice.
sure, absolutely. And I think there's an element where we're going to have to be honest with ourselves about the fact that if you don't, in the environment that we're in, if you're not consistently over delivering, somebody else will. And I think that there's a very, very fine balance that you're going to have to walk between the saying yes to everything and accepting the more aggressive deadlines, the more aggressive, more scope, shorter period, bigger changes, consistent movement in efficiency and productivity and like creative delivery of solutions, all of that. Balancing that out with what people are actually capable of delivering without burning themselves out, without absolutely running into a wall. And I think there's an element of, at some point, if you take on too much, your ability to do things effectively will start to diminish on the other side of it. And finding the balance between being able to successfully and effectively deliver your solution while still saying no to the things, saying yes and understanding what your limit is, and then saying no when you think that your ability to provide a quality product at the end of the day is going to be compromised.
Yeah. And I think like some of the things I've leaned on more in this period than I have in other initiatives is smaller bite-sized things, focusing really closely in on the stakeholders and what it means to them and their particular context. And then really relying on the communications. So a lot more repetition and a lot longer runway to,
and
to
a lot more
something
hand-holding.
done.
Yep. And not assuming that the fact that you've delivered your message 3 times means that it's sunk in.
Exactly.
It's a lot more. And it really isn't just email communication anymore. I don't think I would get anywhere if I didn't pick up the phone. For me, I have a hard and fast rule. If an email goes back and forth more than twice and the point isn't made, it's time for a phone call.
Yeah, that's really good advice.
Absolutely
Jen.
time for a phone call.
Yeah,
Talk to people, remember, honestly, I think a lot of it comes down to remembering that you have people on the other end of your phone or the other end of your computer. Understand that they're going to be absolutely, I don't know we're going to have to edit this part, but like balls to the wall, that people are going to be absolutely overwhelmed with work and figuring out a way to get your priority pushed to the front of their line. And I think sometimes the only way to do that is acknowledging that what you're asking people to do is unfair and you still need them to pull through for you.
Yeah. And
if you have a way to offer some goodwill or a gesture in return, thank you goes a long way, but at some point people deserve more than a thank you.
Yeah, agreed. This, I think it's been a great conversation, just breaking down some of the challenges we're seeing and what that looks like. And a couple different solutions that we talked through, remembering that you're dealing with people. And I love that you are so willing and quick to pick up the phone. I think it's so important. And what I'd like to do, Jen, is actually in our next conversation, break down what, what some of the solutions are by different perspectives. So leadership, from a change management professional's perspective, and then also the personal.
I think that sounds fun.
All right. Okay. So I'll see you next time. Thank you, Jen.
Look
And
forward to it.
talk to you soon.
Bye.